Welcome to the Bare Metal Cybersecurity Plus podcast. This series helps you prepare for the CompTIA Security Plus exam with focused explanations and practical context. For a companion study guide, check out the Achieve CompTIA Security Plus 701 Exam Success by Dr. Jason Edwards. It is the most concise and complete Security Plus guide on the market, built for busy professionals who want to pass the exam fast and on their first try. You can find this book and others at cyberauthor.me. Cybersecurity is not just about defending against attacks, it is also about finding weaknesses before the attackers do. That means continuously identifying, tracking, and responding to vulnerabilities across your environment. These vulnerabilities may exist in software, hardware, configurations, or even third-party code. If left unchecked, they can become easy targets for exploitation. That is why vulnerability identification is one of the most critical tasks in modern security operations. In this episode, we explore vulnerability scanning, application security assessments, and the tools used to uncover weaknesses before they become incidents. Let's begin with vulnerability scanning. A vulnerability scan is a method of systematically inspecting systems, networks, and applications for known vulnerabilities. These scans compare the current state of the system to a database of known issues, such as unpatched software, weak configurations, exposed services, and outdated components. The result is a report that identifies potential security gaps and provides recommendations for remediation. There are several types of vulnerability scans, each suited for different purposes. The first distinction is between credentialed and non-credentialed scans. A credentialed scan uses valid login credentials to access the system and examine it from the inside. This allows the scanner to view configuration settings, file permissions, software versions, and other details that are not visible from the outside. Because it has deeper access, a credentialed scan is more accurate and can detect vulnerabilities that might be missed otherwise. A non-credentialed scan, on the other hand, simulates an external attacker with no internal access. It scans the system from the outside, looking for open ports, exposed services, and public-facing vulnerabilities. While it cannot see everything, it is useful for identifying what an attacker could potentially exploit from the perimeter. Both scan types are valuable, and many organizations use them together to get a complete picture of their security posture. Another distinction is between internal and external scans. Internal scans are conducted from within the network and target systems, as they would appear to someone already inside. These scans focus on internal threats, misconfigurations, and lateral movement opportunities. External scans originate from outside the network and focus on systems exposed to the internet, such as web servers, mail servers, or remote access gateways. Regular external scans help detect weak points in your public-facing infrastructure. A good example of vulnerability scanning in action is a company preparing for a compliance audit. As part of their internal controls, they perform monthly credentialed scans on all workstations and servers. These scans uncover unpatched software, disabled antivirus tools, and configuration errors that could lead to privilege escalation. At the same time, their security team runs external non-credentialed scans against their public websites and cloud platforms. This dual approach helps the company identify and fix weaknesses before an auditor or an attacker can find them. Vulnerability scanning is most effective when used continuously and integrated into broader security operations. Scans should be scheduled regularly, especially after major system changes or software deployments. Results should be tracked over time, with vulnerabilities prioritized based on severity, exposure, and potential impact. Some scanners also integrate with patch management systems, allowing teams to automate remediation and validate that issues have been resolved. Now let's shift to application security assessments. These assessments focus specifically on identifying vulnerabilities in software applications. Because applications are often custom-built and constantly updated, they can contain a wide range of hidden flaws. Security assessments help uncover these flaws before attackers do, using techniques such as static analysis, dynamic analysis, and package monitoring. We begin with static analysis. Static analysis involves examining the application's source code or compiled binaries without executing the program. The goal is to identify security flaws, unsafe coding practices, or potential vulnerabilities such as improper input validation, insecure authentication routines, or the use of outdated cryptographic functions. Static analysis tools scan the code and highlight areas that may be vulnerable, even if the application has not yet been deployed. Static analysis is particularly valuable during the software development lifecycle. Developers can use it early in the process to catch problems before they become expensive or dangerous. It also enforces secure coding standards across teams. For example, a static analysis tool might flag a function that handles user input without sanitizing it. This alert allows the developer to fix the issue before the code is released to production. By embedding static analysis into the development pipeline, organizations can reduce the number of vulnerabilities that reach end users. Next is dynamic analysis. Unlike static analysis, dynamic analysis examines the application while it is running. The goal is to observe the behavior of the software and identify security issues that only appear at runtime. These may include memory leaks, race conditions, injection flaws, and broken access controls. Dynamic analysis simulates real-world use of the application, often including automated test cases or manual interaction, and monitors how it responds. One key advantage of dynamic analysis is that it can reveal issues that are not visible in static code. For example, a login form might appear secure in the source code but behave differently under specific timing conditions or malformed inputs. Dynamic tools can detect these behavioral flaws and provide insight into how attackers might exploit them. This type of analysis is especially important for complex web applications and services that interact with user input, databases, or external systems. Let's consider a real-world example. A development team is preparing to release a new online booking application. They first run static analysis on the code base and discover several functions that lack proper input validation. After correcting the issues, they deploy the app to a staging environment and perform dynamic analysis using a security testing tool. The tool identifies a cross-site scripting vulnerability in a comment field that only triggers when special characters are entered rapidly. By combining static and dynamic methods, the team eliminates multiple layers of risk before going live. The final technique we will cover in this episode is package monitoring. Modern applications rarely exist in isolation. Most rely on open-source libraries, third-party modules, and reusable code components. These packages can introduce vulnerabilities if they are outdated, misconfigured, or poorly maintained. Package monitoring tracks the libraries and dependencies used by an application and compares them to known vulnerability databases. For instance, if an application includes a logging framework that was recently discovered to have a remote code execution flaw, a package monitoring tool can alert the development team immediately. These tools often integrate with software repositories and development environments to provide real-time warnings. They can also generate reports showing which versions are in use, which are vulnerable, and what patches are available. This level of visibility helps teams respond quickly to new threats and reduces the risk of inherited vulnerabilities. Package monitoring was critical during the global response to a high-profile vulnerability in a widely used Java logging library. Organizations scrambled to identify whether they were using the vulnerable component and what versions were affected. Those with strong package monitoring systems were able to identify the risk quickly and apply fixes. Others, lacking this visibility, remained exposed for weeks or months. This scenario highlights the importance of monitoring not just your own code, but also the code you depend on. To summarize, vulnerability identification is a proactive and essential part of cybersecurity. Vulnerability scanning helps uncover misconfigurations, missing patches, and exposed services. Especially when performed regularly with both credentialed and non-credentialed internal and external scans. Application security assessments go deeper, identifying flaws in source code, runtime behavior, and third-party packages. By combining these techniques, organizations can catch weaknesses before they are exploited and strengthen their overall security posture. As you prepare for the Security Plus exam, focus on understanding the different types of scans and analysis techniques. Be ready to explain when each method is appropriate and what kind of vulnerabilities it can detect. Expect scenario questions that ask you to choose between static and dynamic analysis or to identify the benefits of credentialed versus non-credentialed scanning. Review terms like dependency tracking, vulnerability databases, and integration with development pipelines. They often appear in test questions. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Bare Metal Cybersecurity Plus podcast. For more episodes, tools, and study support, visit us at baremetalcyber.com. And before you take the test, make sure to check out the practice questions in the book Achieve CompTIA Security Plus SY0-701 Exam Success by Dr. Jason Edwards. They cover every domain and are a powerful way to lock in your knowledge.